Are you struggling for consistency in your sim racing? Does your iRating look like a roller coaster? If so, we have good news for you. The way to get more consistent is to first understand what you're doing differently than the professionals. And VRS is the answer. With our competitive subscription, you will have the telemetry, setups, tutorials, and everything else you need to fully analyze your driving. Our data packs and the ability to compare your driving with the best in the world will show you exactly where to adjust your inputs, change your driving line, and shave seconds off of your lap times. And our powerful and precise Direct Force Pro wheelbase and precision pedals are being used by some of the world's best drivers. All these champions agree that VRS hardware is not just the best on the market, it's also priced well below the competition. So if you're looking to upgrade to direct drive and the best pedals in sim racing, VRS is your answer. If you want to get better, get faster, and make it happen sooner rather than later, you owe it to yourself to find out why so many people are switching to VRS. You'll be so glad that you did. Visit www.virtualracingschool.com and learn why the best use VRS.
Ricmotech high-performance sim racing equipment. Whether you're just looking to have fun, train for race day, or become a serious esports competitor, Ricmotech has you covered. Hundreds of name brand parts. Support from experts that love sim racing. Trusted by the pros. There's only one place to go, Ricmotech.com. Ricmotech high-performance sim racing equipment. There's only one place to go, Ricmotech.com.
Allow extreme scoring to do the work for you. Allow extreme scoring to do the work for you.
Ricmotech high-performance sim racing equipment. Whether you're just looking to have fun, train for race day, or become a serious esports competitor, Ricmotech has you covered. Hundreds of name brand parts. Support from experts that love sim racing. Trusted by the pros. There's only one place to go, Ricmotech.com.
The search is over. The most comprehensive league scoring solution is here, with the ability for multi-level championships, custom incident tracking, post-race time penalties, support for heats, drop weeks display, multi-car team scoring, advanced web widgets, rookie championships, a custom paint system, and load those results in seconds. Visit extremescoring.info today.
Hi, everyone, and welcome to the World Center of Racing Daytona International Speedway. And while everyone else is waiting for the BMW M-Endurance Challenge this weekend, we want to thank you for joining us for round number 2 of the Extreme Motorsports Ricmotech Sports Car Series, presented by Performa Texas Elite Graphics here on Apex Racing TV. I'm Greg Ginsburg, and joining me in the announce booth is my longtime partner in crime, Larry Lefty McLeod. And of course, let's also welcome Jonathan Grabowski, who will be giving you all the best views of the action here tonight from Daytona. And so last week, it was the World Challenge with its GT3 and GTP cars at Daytona, and this week, GT4 and TCR for 60 minutes, and perhaps the most driven track this time of year on the iRacing platform. And so, Larry, it's not February 2nd, but welcome to an early Groundhog Day.
Yes, it does feel a lot like last week. We got multi-class racing, it's Daytona, and I tell you what, I might be the only one who didn't compete in the virtual 24 last weekend. It seemed to know everybody that I knew had their team going and was a part of it. Some of them lasted one lap, some of them lasted all 24 hours. But tonight, it's just 1 hour we've got to get through. And but it's going to be exciting, as always, here. It is on Monday nights, multi-class racing. In fact, we technically have 3 classes with the split of GT4 in the AMs and the pros. And being that it's only round 2, it's still early in the season, so nothing decided yet when it comes to championship standings. And so lots of opportunities for some folks to really get themselves in, down, and dirty. A couple of folks that maybe missed round 1 are joining us here tonight. And yeah, it's Daytona. Everybody knows this place. Now it's time to go execute.
All right, and so we're a little late to the party right now as we've got our qualifying session starting up. It's a 15-minute qualifying session. All drivers get 4 flying laps in order to set their best time and to set the grid for tonight's race. But let's do this, Larry. Let's turn things over to Kevin Ford. For those of you that weren't with us here last Monday night, Kevin's going to give us our track guide tonight of Daytona International Speedway.
Welcome, everyone, to Daytona International Speedway and the World Center of Racing. Great to have you with us as we provide you your track guide today around this 3.56-mile road course. Here we go. Let's head up the front straightaway. Obviously, you can see our main grandstands to the right, the pit entry to the left, as we head down to the very famous start-finish line here in the Tri-Oval of Daytona Speedway. We're going to tackle the road course here as we come down into this very fast brake zone of turn 1. Very easy to get that car loose coming down into here. Blind entry into that apex, and we're going to race coming up off out of turn 2. Then head down towards the International Horseshoe, turn 3. Very tight wrapping here, pin to the right. Get a good rotation there so we can get a good launch. Come up off that exit and head down this interior straightaway towards the kink. This is turn 4, very fast left-hander. So bring us down towards turn 5. Heavy on the brakes here. Get that car to rotate. We'll bring her right to the bottom. Good run up off the exit. And then head down the little short chute here towards turn 6. This is the re-entry onto the main outer portion of the course, the oval portion that NASCAR typically runs. Coming up onto the banking here of turns 1 and 2, the NASCAR course. A lot of slipstream opportunities here. This is where the road course really lends itself to recovering a little bit or taking advantage of your competitors with the slipstream. Heading down into the bus stop, what's known now as the Le Mans chicane. Head back to the right here, get a good run up off the bus stop, then head out onto NASCAR 3. This is again another slipstream opportunity for drivers and a big one here. This is typically where all of the action happens at the end of the races here at Daytona. Drivers will get up in that draft. They'll start jostling around trying to make their final moves as they head down this last high-speed straight towards the start-finish line. There you go. There's your track guide for the incredible Daytona International Speedway. Thank you for being with us.
All right, and we are back here at Daytona. Thank you so much to Kevin Ford for tonight's track guide of the beautiful 10-turn, approximately 3.5-mile Daytona International Speedway. And so, Larry, we're now just about 8.5 minutes into this 15-minute qualifying session. We're on board right now with, I believe, is this Travis Schwenke that we're on board with?
Yes.
Indeed, it is. Currently, our fourth fastest driver right now out on track. His teammate, Mike Dam, currently the fastest. But as you alluded to earlier, Larry, we actually have, and there's Mr. Dam, we currently have 3 different classes out on track. We've got our GT4 Pros, we've got the GT4 AMs, and of course we've got our TCR cars. And the way you'll be able to tell the difference between them is the GT4 Pro cars. They've got the red mirrors, they've got red number boards on the side of the car, like they're the number 3 machine of Robert Hartley, who's our new provisional pole sitter. Also red windshield banners and red end plates on the wings. In the GT4 AM category, we swap those red pieces out for green, as we can see here is one of our drivers making their way along the banking, and that is Mr. Osborne, currently on track, the number 24 machine. Green number boards, green mirrors, green windshield banners, green end plates, you name it. And then of course we've got our TCR drivers with the front wheel drive machines, and we're on board right now with Brendan Whitworth in the D2D eRacing number 42 machine, and I believe he is currently our fastest TCR driver out on, well, now his teammate Eric Violet just went to provisional pole in class, but you can see there with the TCR cars, blue number boards, mirrors, end plates, and windshield banners, and pretty easy to tell the difference between a 4-door Honda Civic or a Hyundai Elantra from the GT4 machines out here. And as you can see right now that we've got the timing tower up on the screen, Robert Hartley, your provisional pole sitter, here tonight with a fast time of a 152.13. His teammate Mike Dam, currently second fastest. Chris Thorman now in the number 60 machine. He is the 3rd fastest driver on track in Pro. If we jump over to the AM category, and you can see those different colors that we just mentioned on that timing tower as well. Eduardo Lorente, your fastest AM driver in the number 91 Porsche. Second fastest is GT Hawkins, driving the number 14 machine, and Hawkins has got his McLaren sitting there on the pit lane. He's got, he can do one more flying lap if he wished. He has 3 in the books right now. Third fastest is Brad Husty, who we hope to have in for a little pre-race interview in just a little bit. And then if we take a look over at TCR, it's the 2 D2D racers. It is Eric Violet in the number 89 machine, currently your fastest driver, Brandon Whitworth, and then Nick Horvath in the number 82 machine. So Larry, let's do this. Let's quickly look back as qualifying here continues to 2 weeks ago to round 1 of the championship. We held that at Michelin Raceway Road, Atlanta. We'll start off with TCR, where Eric Violet was your winner from D2D eRacing. Brendan Whitworth came in second, and then Team Collusion's Alex Brown took home the bronze with Nick Horvath, Scott Brooks finishing 4th and 5th. If we look at the championship points right now, it's Violet, Whitworth, Brown, Horvath, and then David Payne rounding out the top 5, as we actually, I believe, have no, I thought we had a tie for the lead there.
It looks a lot like round 1's results.
Yeah, exactly. It certainly does. And so let's take a look at
see, Greg, I knew even that was math you could do.
Yeah, seriously. I was just looking to see if there was a tie because of bonus points or something. All right, let's take a look now at GT4 AM, where Brennan Horn, another D2D driver, took the win in his AMG Mercedes GT4 machine. His teammate Bobby Childs finishing second, and then the midfield motorsports Aston Martin of Brad Husty came home in third, with Chad Osborne, Russ Ruddick coming in 4th and 5th. And surprise, surprise, well, I was going to say that's what the current order is, but I think Russ Ruddick right now, due to picking up some bonus points, actually sitting ahead of Chad Osborne in the championship standings right now. And so if we take a look then over at the Pro category,
well, just there on the AM category, it was a really good first week for the D2D team. As you mentioned, the team finishing 1-2 in AM. And there you got Horan and Childs. And then, as you mentioned, also taking the top 2 in the TCR category. So really good round 1 for D2D, and we'll see if they can keep that up tonight.
Yeah, I mean, running the top 2 spots both in TCR and in AM. In the pro category, it was Orion's night at Michelin Raceway, with Robert Hartley taking the win, Mike Dam finishing second, and then Travis Schwenke coming home in third, with Jeff Jacobs from the SCCA Foundation finishing David Payton from D2D finishing in fourth, Jeff Jacobs from SCCA Foundation finishing sixth, and then Steve Daniel from SKKJ finishing sixth. And that, ladies and gentlemen, is exactly how the points look tonight after a single round in the books in GT4, with Hartley your points leader here in a 7-car field in GT4 Pro. And as you can see, there are all the Orion folks racing the BMW M4 GT4s.
Mike Dan picked up the extra bonus point there, which is why the lead for Hartley only 2 points. That's on right. The net, where he picked up 2 bonus points. Mike Dan grabbed 3, so not the full sweep there for Hartley. Dan keeping it close. That was such a fun race there in round 1, and I suspect it's going to be another close night here, as a lot of these guys ran, and of course, in our World Challenge last week. And that, again, was also some pretty close racing among some of these Orion drivers. So it'll be interesting with these guys having now, just here among the Ricmotech world, 2 straight weeks of Daytona. See if that changes things, and see if those who have been around for all of these have a little bit of an advantage over those who maybe didn't.
All right, Larry, we don't have a lot of time, but let's bring in Brad Husty. He's sitting in the waiting room. Got just a couple seconds while our drivers are going to be gridding up for tonight's 60-minute race.
All right, so Brad, I think you've joined us in here. So real quick, thoughts on tonight's race?
Just try and do the best I can and stay clean as much as possible.
Yeah, so you've made the jump over to the GT4s this season. What's that transition been like?
Not as easy as I thought it would be. You can't just, you just can't stomp on the gas coming out of the apex like the TCRs.
Yeah, these things are pretty wild. But you've had a couple of weeks. Did you get to run any 24 Daytona last weekend?
Oh, no, I didn't make it to that. That's a little much for me.
Well, tonight you'll get a whole hour's worth. We're going to let you go get gridded up. But good luck tonight with any chances. Maybe we'll get a chance to talk to you in about an hour. So good luck.
I appreciate it, guys. Thank you.
All right, there you go. Brad Husty, new GT4 driver, driving for Midfield Motorsports tonight in his Mercedes-AMG GT4. And so, Larry, we've got our grid forming up. Mr. Husty, I think, is probably going to be...
I feel bad for him. That'd be the fastest interview we've ever done, but obviously I don't want to hold up his chance to be settled in his car and ready for the grid. So good luck to him, and maybe next time we'll get a lot longer to talk to him.
Yeah, and hopefully we'll get to talk to him post-race tonight. Yeah. So your pole sitter tonight from Orion Racing is Robert Hartley, 0.13 of a second off the pole. Mike Dam in the number 93 Orion Racing machine. Chris Thorman will start third tonight in his D2D e-racing machine. His teammate David Payton will complete row number 2. Then we've got Travis Schwenke and John Allen joining us here this evening. I think Allen was supposed to join us at Michelin Raceway Road Atlanta, did not make the grid after having been very quick in practice. He'll start 6th tonight. Jeff Jacobs will start 7th with Brennan Horan, our pole sitter in GT4 AM. Then we've got Steve Daniel, Eduardo Lorente rounding out your top 10. GT Hawkins will start 11th tonight with Brad Husty starting in 12th.
All right, on the next row, we've got Russ Ruddick in the Flying Tortoise Motorsport entry lined up alongside Andrew Packer. They'll be followed by, on the inside, Stephen May in Mayforce Racing alongside Chad Osborne in Redline Motorsports. Row 9, John Casey from Frito Sport Racing alongside Dale Maxwell from Team 1 Racing. On row 10, it's going to be Robert Brist in RFC Racing. There at the back of the GT4 field, but then that gets us to our TCR field. The front row should be Eric Violet and Whitworth, his teammates, D2D teammates there on the front row. Next row should be Nick Horvath and Leadcore Racing alongside Team Collusion's Alex Brown. Followed by, it should be John Sterling, and I think it's going to be Scott Brooks on the next row. Yes, it is. And the last row there will be David Payne in the TCR category, and there will be a staggered start between the GT4s combined Pro and Am, and then a gap to the TCRs behind.
All right, well, there you go. We've got the field now behind the safety car and making its way here. And here we go. Green flag is in the air as the pace car was on pit lane, and we are underway at Daytona as Robert Hartley leads the field, and very quickly, just as they pass the start-finish stripe, his teammate Mike Dam pulls right up alongside, but as they drop down off the oval into turn number 1, Robert Hartley takes the lead. Thorman will slot into third. We've got a couple people going very wide coming off the oval there. Travis Schwenke already picks up a position. He gets around David Payton. Jeff Jacobs picks up a position. John Allen moves up into 7th as Brendan Warren now falls back into 8th. All right, let's jump over now to the TCR field where they've taken the green flag as well. And we've got Eric Violette leading his teammate now down into turn number 1. And so Brendan Whitworth is going to slot in the second. Running in third is going to be Nick Horvath in that number 82 machine, the Honda Civic, then Alex Brown, John Sterling, Scott Brooks. And here and a little bit towards the back of the pack, it looks like Brooks does manage to get around John Sterling. David Payne just in that white Civic Type R, just kind of sitting around. That seems like one of the GT 86 races I ran last night, Larry, where you just kind of sit around and wait for all the carnage to happen.
It does. So far, though, no carnage. Keep our fingers crossed there as we're back to our GT3s heading into the bus stop. Looking at Jeff Jacobs there, of course. Street Survival entry as they go through the bus stop. You really got to cut those curves hard to get through there and use every bit of that extended concrete at each of those apexes. But look at paint job there from Jeff tonight. He's back in the Mercedes.
Yeah, I like that. I like the stripes on the hood and
big old America flag on the roof. You can see here at the banked oval here in Daytona. Get a good look at that.
Yeah, definitely distinctive here is Robert Hartley and his teammate Mike Dam already starting to use that draft, trying to work themselves clear of Chris Thorman and in the D2D E-Racing, Aston right back behind them. And of course, Travis Schwenke currently running 4th. Schwenke manages to get around D2D E-Racer David Payton, so move Schwenke now up into 4th position in his BMW. Then we've got Payton, then we've got Jacobs in that little group, and a little bit behind, about 2 car lengths back from Jeff Jacobs, we've got John Allen and Brendan Horan. But so far, Larry, looks very clean, and I think these drivers just testing the effects of the draft here tonight.
I think so as well. Yeah, a lot of single file, late on the brakes for a few of them. There's Russ Ruddock there, and the number 95. But really, they're all keeping clean, staying single file. No one really stepping on a line yet. Let's see what happens as we get back onto the oval here for the second time. Perhaps start seeing some of that draft effect. Bigger effect heading from the bus stop down into 1. But you do still get some effect. You got to get all the way by before the bus stop. Otherwise, it could get a little bit messy. As we're taking a look at GT Hawkins there in that McLaren, just trailing Eduardo Lorente in the Porsche. As these two, see if the McLaren's got a little bit of slipstream now. See if he can make the move. Oh, he's going to stay in line into the bus stop. It's tough to do that because it's hard to see and hard to pick out your apexes when you're the trailing driver.
Yeah, I mean, you think, and a lot of these drivers also race in the Ricmotech Classic Sprint Series and the Mazda MX-5s. I think they're used to driving not only in the draft, but mere millimeters off of the back of the cars in front of them. But you get a better view through the windshields of those MX-5s with the open tops and all than you do with the sloped backs of the McLaren or the Aston Martin or one of those cars. I think it's definitely a little bit more difficult to sit in close quarters with these cars here.
It always is, and there's something about this track as well. The good thing about Daytona is you got the brake marker boards. Oh, we've already got a spin, and that is GT Hawkins in that McLaren we were looking at a few minutes ago. Looks like down in turn 1, he's going to lose at least a couple of spots and potentially another one, but looks like he's recovered. That's probably the treacherous.
It looks like Brad Husty that we just spoke to a couple of moments ago in that midfield motorsports machine. He's just looking for a good spot to rejoin. Now let's take a look. I think we've got a replay here, Larry, We'll see exactly what happened to GT Hawkins, and then maybe we'll follow it up if we have time with Brad Husker. Let's go back in time a little bit here, Larry, as Hawkins is coming down off of the oval into turn 1.
Yeah. Gets a little hot under braking, and that mid-engine just says, I think I want to keep rotating, and luckily no contact with anything, just a little bit of bruise to his ego, I think, is all he's going to suffer.
Yeah, and matter of fact, you saw him going in way too hot there.
Yeah,
it was going to be difficult to slow things down. Let's take a look now. Third car in line is Brad Husty. We'll see exactly what happened to him.
Got a little aggressive inside of Russ Ruddock, and that's unfortunate. I think at this point he's probably waiting for Ruddock, wants to give his spot back.
Yeah, that's probably exactly what that is.
Yeah.
Is the Flying Tortoise driver sitting, maybe trying to, and I think
Ruddock
from the looks of it, Larry.
Yeah,
looks like Mr. Husty might be waiting there for a while at the horseshoe because Russ Ruddock has his BMW on the pit lane currently.
I suspect the stewards may have a little bit of a talking, but I think he knows exactly what he did wrong, and that's just one of those. Thought maybe he had a better line, maybe he thought he had more room, but unfortunately for both of them, contact was had. As we flash back now to John Allen. We have not talked about John at all tonight. He's in that number 101, the Aston Martin, the first of that pairing, just ahead of Brennan Horan in the Mercedes. Of course, Horan leading the GT4 AM category, so Horan could have given. We know these guys fight in MX-5s, but right now it looks like Horan's got all the pace in that Mercedes.
Yeah, and matter of fact, words just come down that the 37 machine, Larry, given a drive-through penalty for that incident. Yeah, so it looks like, or the 137, pardon me. So Husty gonna have adding insult to injury right now.
It is the 37, but somehow he's got a 137 on his livery, so it pops up as a 137 as you can see on the car, but the sim says he's 37. So the timing and scoring and all that, it'll show 37. But
right,
back to the battle of TCRs now.
Yeah, and this is a great little battle forming up here, Larry. Is we've got Nick Horvath and Alex Brown, the 82 machine, the 67 machine. They've lost the scent of the two leaders for the moment, Violet and Whitworth. But nice tight battle here, and this is what you typically are going to see in TCR, where they do rely quite a bit on the draft. It looks as though watching Horvath there in the 82 machine, he's still maybe trying to figure out the grip levels at the front of that TCR car.
Maybe doing that. Maybe also to make sure it's trying to conserve tires a little bit. It'll be interesting. Out here, there should be plenty of room to keep your tires cool around the oval, but still you don't want to go wearing them out too early in the race. But take a look at this. This front four, of course, led by Mike Dam, has definitely bunched up a little bit.
Yeah.
Thorman and Schwenke right a part of this. So 3 out of those 4 Orion drivers of Thorman, that D2D, right in the mix with this front 4. This is a good little scrap. Now it's up to at least 5.
Yeah, and Larry,
and John Allen are up.
And this is kind of what, John Allen now joining that battle as well, along with Brennan Horton and one of our
That's Andrew Packer.
Oh yes, it is.
Good.
Yeah,
He's
looks like
he
may have had a long, wild ride coming at turns 1 and 2.
I think so.
Let's take a look, see what happened.
There he is in the front of the BMW pair that comes through. It just runs a little bit wide, a lot wide. Heads across and catches catches the grass at the apex of that curving. It hooks him.
That's a trajectory that I have not seen before, Larry. But he's. This kind of reminds me of when drivers go off at South Bend at VIR and they're just driving for days in the grass, trying to find their way back to civilization. And it looks like he finally does. But that was a weird one. He just dropped his regular tire into the grass over at the apex and it just hooked the car right and off he went. But obviously no damage to the car, just to, as we said, to the ego and obviously to his lap times as well. It's interesting here as we're watching now this battle at the front, and and you can see as they come off the infield how this lead pack really seems to stretch out a little bit, but we'll see them.
That draft.
Yeah, as they come down towards turn 1, everything compresses back down again.
Yeah, the draft is insane. It's on this whole track. We talked about it during the World Challenge race last week. The key to every lap around here, the first key is coming out of the bus stop. The second key is getting onto the oval after the second horseshoe. If you could do those two right, no matter what you do with the two actual horseshoes, it really doesn't matter too much unless you're really throwing it away. But if you hit those two, you'll be staying in battles for a long time, potentially winning them, as we had seen our battle between Dam and Hartley last week. So that seems to be the way it's going. Thorman last time, as we happened to have the camera on him, was just got the best run ever coming out of that bus stop, and you saw the result of this. He was right on the back of Hartley going into one. And I suspect that'll continue as long as he can get that kind of run out of the bus stop. Now we've got these two guys into a heated lockup battle. Of course, Steve Daniel and Jeff Jacobs. Yeah, these guys always tend to be in somewhat of a close battle, and nothing different about that tonight.
Yeah, so the BMW and the Mercedes here, as this is currently the battle for the current battle for 8th overall, and I believe 7th. In pro, as Brennan Horn currently sitting as your AM leader, just ahead of him, and actually quite a bit ahead of him at this point. There, nice little pocket there, though. They'll be able to battle it out for quite a bit. Eduardo Lorente, I think about 6 seconds in arrears of this fight.
Shows you some of these gaps that tend to form at a race like this. If you miss that draft opportunity and that front pack starts to pull away, there's nothing you can do, because traveling in a train is always faster than by yourself.
And there you go. You can see the effect of the draft there is Jeff Jacobs gets right by Steve Daniel coming down off the oval down into turns 1 and 2. Nicely executed pass. Daniel not putting up any real fight there, as we're very early on. And let's jump back over to the TCR battle here, and we've got the two teammates, Whitworth currently in second behind Eric Violet, our leader, the two Honda Civic Type R's here coming back out onto the oval, and again they've really started to separate themselves out from Nick Horvath and Alex Brown.
Yeah, we've got a bit of a Noah's Ark thing going on in TCR. Yeah. 2x2x2 with Violent Whitworth, Horvath Brown, and then Brooks Sterling. Each of them locked into this one-on-one battle, but now separating those three battles into different spots. But here you go. Look at this, Horvath and Brown, like they're hitched at the nose to tail.
As they come here along past the start-finish stripe, and they'll drop down back into the infield here. Wow, and you can see the big wiggles from both of those cars. Larry, Alex Brown in the black number 67 machine, even before he got the nose pointed down towards the infield, you could see the rear end of that car moving from left to right, oscillating as all the weight was unloaded to the nose.
Yeah. Braking is tough coming off that oval in anything, but if you do that in the front-heavy, front-drive cars, the way these tires are, it's just super squirrely. It's not as easy as you might think, and it's just a little front-drive grocery getter. It can't be hard. It really is. These cars at that speeds just get a little bit crazy on you. As you got to look at Scott Brooks and his battering teammate there, John Sterling, right in front of him. These guys are locked in. Like I said, it's 2x2x2 here in TCR with David Payne trying to latch onto the back of these two guys.
All right, Larry, let's jump back up to the lead pack here, which it seems to have not only closed down a little bit in the infield, but also I think the levels of aggression starting to step up just a little bit here. As you can see, some drivers getting a little bit on the defensive side, particularly David Payton, that fifth car in line trying to defend against John Allen's 101 Seamless Racing car. You also notice here, of course, in the top 4, Chris Thorman from D2D eRacing in that number 60 car, having to hold off Travis Schwenke, who's looking to make it an Orion Racing 1-2-3 here as they come back out of the infield and back onto the oval here on lap number 8.
And you just watch those gaps ticker down as they head down this oval, and everybody's draft. So all the way to Allen back there, his gets closer, Peyton, Schwenke, Thorman, Hartley, all the way up the ladder, and Mike Dam just keeps checking those mirrors. Is anybody going to make a move? the accordion squeezes together, you go through the bus stop, a little bit of opening in the bus stop, and then the accordion will squeeze together as they go around. But look at the run that Hartley just got on Dam. I would not be surprised if Hartley has enough for a good run all the way into turn 1 to make a pass on this lap, whereas Thorman, not sure he got as good of a run as Hartley did.
We'll see if he, and you can see now is Hartley moving to the outside, at least for a moment, to take that high line on the oval, now dropping down to the inside. And we may see the two Orion teammates swap positions here
like
now.
That.
Yep, there you go. As Dam
Thorman's
taking the
gonna
high
get
line. He might be giving up second spot now to Thorman.
Well, I think what happened there is Thorman stuck in the draft behind Hartley, so and that's Mike Dam going wide, a lot of wide. He's
and you know, Larry, that was very much like what we had just seen a few moments ago from I think it was GT Hawkins a little bit earlier, dropping that wheel over at turn 2 and just sending the car off under load, under high speed.
Let's take a look at a quick replay of this, because I think you may be right. He may have caught a little bit of grass on the car's right. As he gets pushed to the outside here, Thorman's got the inside, and he's got Schwenke coming up, so he's got to leave room for Schwenke. So he stays all the way to the right. He's in at 93 in this shot. Yep, same exact thing. Not as violent. I think it was Andrew Packer that we had seen do that before. This time it's one of our other Canadians in the field decided to go right down there. But luckily for him, didn't ride as far, but he lost a lot of time, dropping all the way down to 7th overall. He's about 4.5 seconds behind the pack in front of him. So he's got work to do. This will be interesting whether he decides to now think about an odd strategy for pits, as we may have a new leader in D2D Racing's Chris Thorman now in front as they go into the bus stop.
Yeah, and Larry, that's the first time so far tonight we've seen the effect of the draft and be able to affect the pass going into the bus stop rather than out and into the oval. Yeah, just because the shorter run there. But move Chris Thorman now. Started 3rd tonight, now up into the lead with Robert Hartley and Schwenke.
Will he get credit for a lap led? Will he hold it to the stripe? I don't think so. Hartley's got a nose ahead. Hartley getting help from Schwenke behind.
You know, it's going to be close there, Larry. Thorman might have just been inched ahead of Hartley.
John Allen also wanting a piece of this. He comes to the outside of Schwenke for a moment, tucked back in, but boy, I tell you, it's definitely getting testy. You said aggressions are starting to crank up a little bit. All of that stuff helps Mike Dam to try and gain back up, because these guys maybe aren't going to be as fast if they're all going side by side.
Yeah, and he's not that far off. I mean, obviously, though, it's going to hurt him quite a bit every time he comes out of the infield and goes onto the oval without somebody to pull him along. Yeah. All right, Larry, let's jump back over to the TCR battle.
Perfect timing.
Yeah,
they're side by side.
Yeah, for a moment there, it looked like looked as though Whitworth might challenge his teammate coming down into the bus stop. Decided to hold back out, but a little bit further back from there is that battle for 3rd in TCR with Horvath and Brown in the 2 Type Rs, and I still find it, Larry, especially once we get here to Daytona, you know, where the Civic Type Rs certainly shorter wheelbase, maybe a little bit more nimble than the Hyundais. But almost to a man, I think, with the exception of 2 drivers in the category so far, almost all of them are racing Civic Type Rs here this evening.
Well, while you're talking, and you know, I'm sure I'm listening, but I'm watching these two as their teammates' team orders just don't exist. If they are, they just got a talking to from
don't hit each other,
because these guys were side by side going into one. No one was giving an inch until finally, now you see Eric Violet in front, but this is a battle that's going to go on for another 42 minutes until they see checker. This is a lot of fun to watch.
All right, Larry, let's jump back to this battle for the lead. Hartley again. No.
Yeah, I think contact between Schwenke, Allen, Peyton, those 3 were all basically nose to tail like a train. I think they've cleared out now, but man, is it close.
Yeah, they were all right up as Allen got into the back of Schwenke, Peyton got into the back of Allen here, and is definitely getting very tight now in the battle for 3rd as Hartley and now Thorman have giving themselves a little bit of clearance here, about 2.5, maybe 3 car lengths as they come through the second horseshoe and start to make their run down through the remaining portions here of the infield. But I mean, it looks as though now Hartley seems to have a very strong car, Larry, and it does very well in the draft. Thorman has a car that looks very good in the draft, and we'll see, although he's not quite as close to Hartley, I think, as he wanted to as he got back out onto the oval here. But by the time they get back towards turn 1, he's seemingly the last 3 laps or so been in a position to battle for position.
He's getting fantastic runs out of the bus stop, and so if you watch him, see if he does it again here. He's got the car pivoting very well at that middle transition from loading to the right to loading to the left. Thorman's doing a great job of that tonight, which allows him to get these runs through the draft. But his teammate here is, I think, doing the same thing. David Payton in that 64 doing the same thing now to John Allen, as it's Aston on Aston trying to make this pass, and he might have enough to do it as they come around towards the front side of the oval. Does he go in? Does he go out? Does he stay?
You know, let's see here as they come to the stripe, and John Allen still looking to grab some of the draft off of the back of Travis Schwenke, and Peyton decides to take that same line until they get down to turn 1. He takes a look to the inside, nowhere to go, and he's going to slot back behind the 101 machine. But you can see there Brennan Horn in the 45. He's your AM category leader, now finds himself in 6th position after Dam had that off a couple laps ago. Horn, our sole AM category driver in this lead pack. Next driver in class is GT Hawkins, it's Eduardo Lorente, my mistake, who is sitting all the way back now in 10th position. He's got a long way to go if he's going to bring the battle to Horn.
Yeah, and he's got a couple cars between he and Brennan Horn as well, so that's sometimes the harder thing. Is these guys, again, like I said, the gloves are off early in this battle. They're just going to go at it tonight. Nobody's conserving fuel. No one's doing anything but just trying to lead every corner. This is a lot of fun.
Yeah, this is great. Oh, with a bit of a love tap
that was
there.
Close.
And then comes to the high line, and I'm wondering if with the certainly with the amount of horsepower that these Type R that the TCR cars have, that probably keeping to that low line is the more advantageous line. You don't want to have to run more distance than you need, but it might also be easier to get the car turned in for turn 1 there to be able to drop down from the outside and run a little bit tighter line, as we see Violet doing just that.
Yep, and he does. So holding back to that spot. Again, these guys, it's a whole lot of chess going on between these two right now. Picking lines, setting each other up. But we know come the 50th, 59th, 60th minute, it's going to come down to probably who's trailing going into the bus stop and can they get the run to make the pass. So this is all just sort of feeling things out and just toying with it. But these guys we know are going to be there at the end. The question also was who stops first for fuel, or
do they stop on the same lap? Yeah.
Also worth noting, Mike Dam a lap ago had been about 7/10 faster than everybody in front of him, but not the last time by. He's actually a second slower than everyone in front of him this last time. So Dam, we thought was going to make a bit of a run. He's got to work again through that traffic.
Yeah, he's got to put in a couple more laps in a row in order to get up there. It looks like he'll have at least one TCR machine. I think that's David Payne in the 31 machine just ahead that he's going to have to find a way around. Shouldn't be, once things straighten out or they get onto the oval, shouldn't be too difficult for him.
And a little slingshot, using a little bit of the draft to go around him. Didn't get to use it much there, but if anything, he may have actually hampered his acceleration as he initially turned onto the oval. So
yeah, didn't get a good run. He was pretty close to the back of the 31 as they cranked the wheels over, but let's jump over now. Neat little battle right now. Yeah, between Stephen May and Chad Osborne. This is the battle for 4th right now in AM, and very, very tight, close battle here between two very similar cars, between the two BMW M4 GT4s.
Yeah, it looks like they're just going to go ahead and scrap all the way into the bus stop. Let's see if anybody gives at all. Of course, it's May on the inside, but a little bit of grass, but this is going to definitely hurt his exit speed.
Yes, it is. As you can see there,
yeah,
as he pushed wide to the third apex, Larry, and was still trying to get a hold of the wheel, get that car pointed back towards the oval. Lost a lot of exit speed here to Osborne.
Well, here they come around the oval, so no one's going to even get close to the other for fear of giving up a little bit of side draft, so they're keeping their distance. Let's see if they concede going into one at all.
Well, certainly not the fast way around the oval if you're running side by side the whole way.
They're having a lot of fun though, for sure.
Yeah, I would suspect they are. So Stephen May going to have the advantage as they come down into the infield here on lap number 14. Again, this is the battle for fourth in the AM category.
Back in on our Violet Whitworth teammates battle here, the D2D TCRs. And again, we've got the lap times up there, but you can see it's a 10th one way, a 10th the other way. And none of it really matters much, but here you go, Whitworth now with the draft coming out of the bus stop. Let's see if he gets all the way by, and if Violet throws him into a bad line coming into one.
Yeah, and this is, we saw just a lap ago with these two cars inverted. We saw Violet to the outside, we saw Whitworth to the inside, and Violet was able to make a nice run down off of the oval and carry speed, able to open up that arc quite a bit more.
Well, now the roles are reversed. Let's see if Whitworth can do the same to Violet that was just done to him. No, Violet with a very good line, even starting on the inside to hold that position.
Yeah, I think the major difference there, Larry, is he actually opened up that arc a little bit more than we saw Whitworth do a lap ago. And I think Whitworth probably induced quite a bit more understeer on the previous lap. Look at this.
It's Allen,
yeah, John Allen having to deal with David Payton in the 64 machine here as they were side by side coming into the first corner, and that's given a little bit of breathing room for the moment to Travis Schwenke in that number 16 BMW. But now you'll notice John Allen has managed to work himself clear of Payton.
Yeah, but not for long. Peyton driving very consistently, solid, good lines there behind John Allen. So don't be surprised if Peyton able to counteract and come back at him again. This is one of those critical spots coming onto the oval, getting that power down in these high horsepower cars. Very critical for a strong lap around here to stay tight. And Allen losing a bit of the draft in front of him. He's got 7/10 back to Schwenke, so that's almost 9/10 now. Losing a bit of a sniff of the draft, giving more power to Peyton behind him as they head down towards the bus stop.
Yeah, and of course, Brennan Horn playing the faithful teammate to David Payton, not attempting anything, just sitting in line. So it's one less thing for now that David Payton has to worry about. And wow, John Allen cutting things awfully close coming out of the bus stop there as he had the two left wheels in the grass. And yeah, look at this, as our TCR cars are now just inundated with GT4 traffic with our leaders coming around.
Well, if Chris Thorman didn't lead a lap earlier, he's going to get one now. He's definitely clear of Hartley by a couple of tenths as they cross the stripe this time, heading into one. So he'll get his bonus point for that, for leading a lap.
Wow, and coming down, and look at this as they all come down into turn one, and we've got some of our TCR drivers. We got Nick Horvath just slamming that Honda Civic down right in front of David Payton. Enough
to send the production booth going crazy with this battle right now, watching these GT4s try and squeeze their way around the TCRs. Hey, it's desperate times. You got to stay in line, right? You can't give up the position because the TCR's in front of you. You got to send it when you can.
That's it. And Horvath saw his opportunity to maybe stretch things out over Scott Brooks. And as the GT4 machines made their way by, well, there you go. As Brooks is now right back up to the back of that red and black number 67 machine. But they've both got John Allen, or probably not John Allen, Mike Dam. Sitting only a couple inches off the back of them as they come back onto the oval. You see Mike Dam is now already dispatched with Alex Brown And he's got Nick Horvath. This shouldn't be a big problem for him on the oval. He should be able to clear him before they come to the bus stop. And there you go, Mike
Dan is
Dam.
making up ground. He's just looks like 2 seconds now behind Brennan Horan, who's actually the car in between he and David Payton. So now 1.5 seconds behind Brennan Horan. So now he's almost within draft range of that 45 car, that Mercedes. And once you get within about 1 second, that's definitely within the draft. So Dam's inching closer. When he does, he'll be right there with an opportunity to jump with these guys. But I wouldn't be surprised if before he gets there, he dives into the pits and gets his fuel stop before he starts having to deal with traffic.
Yeah, a matter of fact, Larry, speaking of which, we're going to start to see some drivers come down. We already had Jeff Jacobs was our first GT4 driver to come down the pit lane. And you see here now we've got Travis Schwenke and John Allen, as well as Steve Daniel in the pits as well. We anticipated that the pit window for the GT4 cars would be somewhere between laps 12 and 20. So we're actually getting towards the tail end of that window. And maybe what we'll do here, Larry, we'll stick around for another 4 or 5 minutes before we take a break and see if we've got any of our other GT4 leaders coming in.
Because now with Thorman leading this race, and then you've got the Hartley now, the only of the Orion drivers kind of in that front three. Peyton, the teammate of Thorman, now sitting in third. And then you got Brennan Horn, another one. So get all these D2D drivers all feisty and fighting up there at the front right now. May want to try and work together as best they can while they have the opportunity here with some of the other Orion drivers and John Allen and those other onesies, one-offers, all now out of their way.
All right, and so Schwenke, Allen, and Jacobs now return to the action. All three of those drivers coming out together, currently running 9th, 10th, and 11th here in the field. And there you go. We've got Travis Schwenke and John Allen with Jeff Jacobs just a little bit further back. We're more than a little bit, but he was quite a bit further back in the field previously. All right, as we jump back up now to the battle for the lead with Thorman and Hartley. Hartley closing things down under the draft. Or probably Hartley closing up, and they're coming up on our TCR leaders.
Yeah, this will be interesting. Leaders passing leaders. Brennan Horan just came in, but I want to keep an eye on this as these two TCR cars don't want to give up any room because they're in their own battle. So behind them, it's going to be Peyton and now Mike Dam stacking up because Horan is in. That leaves Dam now 5th on the track.
That's right. It's and as that gap to the lead pack has now been erased.
Yeah. Wow.
And they have to follow the TCR battle all the way through the International Horseshoe, Larry.
You know who this is helping? This is helping Schwenke and Allen, who don't have
close.
that right now.
Yeah,
They've already done their stop, right? They're not getting held up on the infield by TCRs. Oh, this is going to get dicey.
Oh, wow. Here is Mike Dam tries to go around the outside of the 64 machine of David Payton. And Payton moves over driver's left to halt that charge. But they're going to come all the way through the infield area behind the two TCR leaders. Now they'll finally be able to work their way clear. And as they jump out onto the 31-degree banking here now, Thorman and Hartley have opened up maybe a little bit of a gap to David Payton, but Mike Dam now sitting 4th overall.
Well, they're still going to probably have Eric Violet in between them as they go into the bus stop, because I think all 4 of them maybe aren't going to clear. Oh, they just barely do, but Mike Dam's got a terrible run through the bus stop. I tell you what, the ones that made out like bandits in this are Travis Schwenke and John Allen.
Yeah,
absolutely made out.
They had clear road in front of them. And I would suspect that they probably made up a good, we'd have to take a look at the lap times, but I think probably a good 2.5 to 3 seconds maybe made.
Well, we were not going to see because Thorman and Peyton and Dam all just came in. Rob Hartley stays out. One thing to note, Brennan Horn, who had stopped Brennan's about 2 seconds or so behind Schwenke and Allen. So Schwenke, Allen, a gap to Horan. Now you got Thorman, Peyton, and Dam all in the pits. Rob Hartley all by himself out on track.
That's right. That's right. And so there we go. And now, as we see here, Hartley all by himself coming through the horseshoe. And
there's
that
the full
is
pits.
likely going to move GT Hawkins up into second place overall, but no, maybe not, as Hawkins is now bringing the McLaren down the pit lane.
Stephen May, yeah.
Yeah, Stephen May now also pitting in.
All right, so there's the Schwenke. This is, to me, the virtual lead here. This is Schwenke and Allen. It's now those pitters are pulling out of there, so that's Peyton and Thorman heading out of the pits, and Dan
there you
behind
go.
them.
There you go, Larry, taking the lead.
Yeah.
Now is going to be Travis Schwenke and John Allen.
Until I'm just waiting for Hartley to make his stop, but then it'll get changed over to Schwenke and Allen, depending on where Hartley comes out. But that does bode well for Schwenke and Allen, is that they were able to clear the Peyton Thorman and Mike Dam battle. Brennan Horn nestles in the middle there in front of Mike Dam. But Hartley's got to really lay down an in-lap like no other if he wants to.
He does, Larry. And when I said it was about 3 seconds on that last lap where our leaders were behind the 2 TCR cars, lap times were running in the low 155s. The leaders at the front of the pack had been running in the high 50, had been running in the high 51s, almost 3 seconds faster. And then there you go, as Robert Hartley now comes onto the pit lane.
Yeah, let's keep our eye on where is Schwenke and Allen. While Hartley's now in the pits, he'll go right to the front bay. There you go. He's in his stop. Bogey time's about mid 26 seconds is the pit stop time for most drivers. As Brad Husty makes his way back up his pit stop. Alex Brown is in for his. Nick Horvath. And then Violet Whitworth, the only drivers that haven't stopped. Oh, there you go. There's Schwenke leading Allen just ahead of Peyton. In the pits still, on his way out now, is Rob Hartley. There he goes.
And is Hartley going to have enough? As we should have the leaders starting to come down. Here they are coming down into turn 1. Hartley might have pulled this off, Larry. It's going to be close.
The acceleration zone is much further down than it used to be, so he's got to wait. He does hold the lead, but he's got no momentum, and there you go. We're right back where we started from, like nothing happened about 10 minutes ago.
All right, let's do this, Larry. Let's follow these drivers for one lap. We'll see how Hartley does getting tires up to temp. We may see our TCR drivers drop into the pit lane while we're doing that. But yeah, let's give it one lap or so, and then we'll take a break.
Yeah, for Hartley, he's got to get back into the rhythm quickly, and knowing that he's just ahead of teammate Travis Schwenke. Schwenke just made out like a bandit. And if you remember, when he stopped, he was when this all started shuffling a little bit, I believe he was fourth in the train. Yeah, and so great for him to be able to come out up into second, pushing Peyton and Thorman behind he and Allen. So Hartley, Schwenke, Allen, Peyton, Thorman, Brennan Horn, their leader in AM, and then Mike Dam just behind him. Mike about basically evened out a little bit. I think everybody's within draft range of all 7 of them.
All right, yeah, and I was going to say, it gives a little bit of coverage to Hartley with Schwenke sitting right behind him. Gives Hartley the advantage of getting those tires back up to temp and getting back up to speed. All right, so let's do this, Larry. As I think the only 3 drivers that have not come into the pit lane yet, Eric Violet and Brendan Whitworth. Violet leading TCR, Whitworth running in second, and Nick Horvath in the number 82 machine, not yet having pitted in either. Let's take that break. Let's thank some of our sponsors. And when we come back, we'll take you all the way to the checkered flag here at Daytona International Speedway for the Extreme Motorsports Ricmotech Sportscar Series presented by Performa Texas Elite Graphics. We'll be right back.
Ricmotech, high-performance sim racing equipment. Whether you're just looking to have fun, train for race day, or become a serious esports competitor, Ricmotech has you covered. Hundreds of name brand parts. Support from experts that love sim racing. Trusted by the pros. There's only one place to go, Ricmotech.com. Ricmotech, high-performance sim racing equipment. There's only one place to go, ricmotech.com.
Allow extreme scoring to do the work for you.
And welcome back to Daytona International Speedway for round number 2 of the Extreme Motorsports Ricmotech Sports Car Series presented by Performa Texas Elite Graphics. I'm Craig Ginsburg along with Larry Lefty McLeod. And Larry, we're right back to where we left off here with Robert Hartley, Travis Schwenke, and John Allen, your top 3 drivers on track. Some small updates in TCRs. It looks like Nick Horvath did bring his Honda Civic Type R into the pits from 3rd. That leaves Brendan Whitworth and Eric Violet still out on track. We saw the pit window for TCR being about 22 laps. They're currently working their 21st lap, so they may be coming in soon enough as things have started to stretch out just a little bit between the two. But things definitely not stretching out at the very front of the field with Hartley, Schwenke, Allen, and frankly, Payton and Thorman not all that far behind.
Yeah, just a little bit of a stretch forming there between John Allen in 3rd and David Payton in 4th, as finally the Hondas need some refueling here between Violet and Whitworth coming in together. Whitworth stopping. I thought he was a little deep in his pit box. He did have to back up. That's going to cost him about a second, maybe 2 seconds. So when they come out, there could be gap now forming in the top 2 in TCRs. Worth keeping an eye on between them as the intensity of the pit stops.
All right, let's jump back to the lead here, and then should note that Chris Thorman had just run the fastest lap of the race. He's the lead car in that second pack, currently running, or second car in that second pack, pardon me. Currently running in 5th position in the number 60 machine, as I think he's trying to will David Payton, his teammate, perhaps a little bit further up the road.
It's critical that he is second and he's not the lead in that pack, and that is the key would be to have the lead of that pack be the fastest car in the pack, because they really didn't gain any ground. They're still a full second from 3rd place John Allen. So Payton does have to hit his marks a couple of times here. He's got to make sure he gets off his horseshoe. Maybe he did. He's got to get on to the oval quickly. If he can do that, we'll have a full 7-car train once again.
Yeah, and indeed, and you can see there at the tail end of that, right behind the 2 Aston Martins is Mike Dam trying to come underneath the Aston of Chris Thorman. Not quite able to get it done. Couldn't quite get the car both rotated and get the power down there, and he's going to follow the number 60 machine at least to the bus stop. And those Astons seem to have real good launches out of the infield there.
Yeah, if you can line it up. If you don't get any wheel spin, then they do. I think sometimes these guys are fighting a little bit of wheel spin at times, and that happens. It's such a killer of momentum going on to those long straights, the long oval sections. And you watch Mike Dam definitely got a better run this time than Thorman. Remember, Thorman, I believe at one point was leading this race, so he's had some great runs. He's been one of the fastest we've seen coming out of the bus stop. Watching Mike Dam, I'm wondering if he doesn't want to push for the pass there, if he just wants to ride it out there, and that's why he went up and carried a little bit of a win head on. It's interesting strategy for Mike. Yeah, but a moment ago I had said there were 7 cars, and this, as you can clearly see, there are only 6 because our GT4 AM leader, Brennan Horn, has backed off just a little bit from this group, now about 4 seconds back, so he seems to be out of it, still leading in the AM category, but not really a part of this 6-car train with all GT4 pros at the front.
Yeah, and I think part of that, Larry, his pit stop was about 2 seconds longer than Payton, than Dam, Thorman, and about 3 seconds off of Payton's pace in the pit stops as well. And we should note that David Payton has just run his fastest, or has run the fastest lap of the race on this previous lap, and so now you can see things definitely starting to compress down as he has now caught up to the top 3 drivers now right off the back of John Allen.
Yeah, Yeah, that 51.58 is a screamer of a lap. A little bit of draft from there, but again, you got to hit those marks. He did very well, and you can see how he was able to close the gap now to John Allen just a bit. Now he's in draft range. That lap made all the difference in the world. If he doesn't do that, it was starting to really form a gap from the front three to the next three. But good job by David Payton to make sure that didn't happen. You can see him here trying to get this run through this bus stop. The all front four do a pretty good job right there. Thorman's still struggling a little bit in the second half of the race to get those exits out of that bus stop.
Yeah, he is. Yeah, that 51.58, almost 0.4 of a second faster than Hartley, Schwenke, and Allen were able to manage that last lap, and it closed it down. Now you can see the effect of the draft here as Payton comes right up to the back of the 101 machine just ahead. You can see Hartley and Schwenke, and it looked like Hartley maybe thrown out the block a little bit on the 16 machine as they come down into turn one.
John Allen's going to take advantage of it and try and push Schwenke to the rough side of the inside there, but no, Schwenke's able to hold the line. Allen actually went slower because of it. Lots of chess playing right now.
Yeah, and and I almost had a flashback, Larry, because Mike Dam was very late and very wide coming off of the oval into turn one, and I started to do the math. I'm so good at geometry and physics to determine whether or not he was going to hit that same part of the apex curbing at turn two and go for another wild ride.
I tell you, watching Payton is so late on the brakes behind his teammate Chris Thorman, but he's able to make it work. Just wondering who's going to be the first one to really step out in this group and do something different. John Allen thought maybe he was going to make a move on Schwenke. He didn't. Mike Dam, again, he was leading this race for quite a bit between he and Hartley for the first segment before he had that off. And now he's sitting back in sixth. But these guys are fast tonight. Thorman, Payton showing the GTD boys can play with the best. And it's a struggle now for Dam to make up ground and move up from that sixth place spot.
Yeah, and Dam had just reset the fast lap on that previous lap, but really nowhere for him to go. Right behind David Payton. Now we'll have to see with John Allen. You had just said that perhaps he would be the one to do something a little different. And when we saw as they came down to the turn one, Larry, on that last lap, he did have designs on going to the outside on Travis Schwenke, but then he threw the car back to the inside, and it really seemed to unsettle the car, and he lost a lot of pace through the infield, and it looks like he's still struggling a little bit to make it up here on the oval on the following lap.
He's got no teammate here, right? Everybody else is paired up with a teammate but him, so he doesn't really have to rely on anybody. He runs with these guys a lot, as we know. These guys all run together in the Classic Sprint Series. John's always with the there.
Oh, look at this, Larry, coming down to the inside on John Allen.
That's going to be a lot wide.
That's it. As we just had, Thorman coming underneath John Allen. Not sure if there was any contact there. I saw it in the mirror as we were on board watching him. And John Allen goes off to the outside, driver's right, coming through turns 1 and 2, and so much so that our timing and scoring showed him in the lead for a moment.
I want to see, like you did, I want to see if there's any contact. Again, Allen aggressively deep into one, but he just gets deep all by himself. But right here, no, I don't see contact. I think that just maybe he flinched to avoid contact.
Yeah, I think so.
And there's that grass again.
Yeah, and so much so, Larry, that for a moment it showed Allen is in the lead. That's how fast the run through the grass was. Yeah, don't think so. All right, let's jump back, and now it is a 4-car battle up front, and let's
it should be 5.
5. I'm sorry, with Mike Dam in there in the trail car. That's right. So Hartley, Schwenke, now Thorman and Payton, and it looks as let's take a look here. We've got the leaders coming through some lapped GT4
Andrew
traffic.
Packard there on their right. He's taking the high line, give these guys an opportunity to go all underneath him. And then, of course, that's the 51 of Brist. Both of them doing a great job of trying to let this lead pack on through. Just wanted to catch up. When we saw the pit stops come in for our TCR leaders, Eric Violet and Brandon Whitworth, remember they were nose to tail, but we saw Whitworth overshoot that pit box. It's now a 3.5-second lead for Eric Violet. I suspect a lot of it is because of that. You get late to your box, you have to back up in. It's an absolute killer. So it's allowed Eric Violet to sort of stretch it out a little bit here. No more worrying about the draft behind him. Whitworth locked in the second, but unless Violet has a lot of traffic issues, he's going to be a tough one to beat here tonight in TCR.
Yeah, indeed. Now that battle for third in TCR, it looks to be still very strong between Horvath.
Got a battle here, though.
Yeah, look at this here. Is Mike Dam now trying to finally take advantage of Chris Thorman?
Yeah, and he had to be aggressive somewhere. That's a tough place to pass. Around the outside of the kink on the infield between the horseshoes. That is extremely tough, but he's to the point now, 10 minutes to go. If he wants to win this race, he's got to pass someone basically every lap.
And my mistake there was Mike Dam getting around David Payton. Thorman still up ahead in the number 60 machine.
And you got to be careful when you make a pass not to lose too much ground, because you still want to be able to use that draft to stay close to the cars in front of you. He managed to do that. You can see the gap there on the screen, about 8-9 tenths. That's good. He can sniff some draft. If he can get a great run out of this bus stop, he'll be probably 4 tenths back from Thorman on the next lap, and this could be a good little run for this front four with probably, we'll say 5 laps to go, give or take. Yeah, look at that run for Dam. Pretty solid. I would suspect about 4 or 5 tenths behind Thorman by the time they reach turn 1.
Yeah, Mike Dam has been the fastest of the top 5 drivers in the last number of laps here. That last time by running about 2 tenths faster.
Yeah, this lap may not be only because of the side-by-side going around the outside of the infield, but here he is. Look at this. Deep on the brakes into 1, but it's working for him. He's getting this run as they head down to the International Horseshoe.
Yeah, and they've even left David Payton perhaps a little bit behind there.
Yeah. Thorman now has to do all the mirror watching. He's surrounded by Orions.
This is very much what we saw a couple weeks ago, Larry, at Michelin Raceway Road Atlanta, where we had the 3 Orion drivers round out the top 3, take each step of the podium here, and obviously Thorman looking for a little bit different result tonight.
Yeah. Thorman would love to disrupt that and break that threesome up and make sure at least one of those podium spots went to a D2D driver. He's got a shot. We know he already led a lap in this race. He was fighting in the front of this race before the pit stop, so he's got the pace tonight. Now he's got to see if he's got the strategy, see if he's got the chess match here with the other 3 to be able to stay in this and maybe pick up a spot, or who knows, maybe 2.
You know, Arian, I feel, you know, this is shaping up to be such a great battle here again with just a few laps left to go. I've been watching the TCR fight as well. And that TCR fight has this is the battle for third between Horvath and Brown. Has swapped positions. Horvath for the longest time was running 3rd in class, and they separated out by about a second. And then just a few moments ago, we saw that number 82 machine, the yellow, black, and red Civic Type R pull right up alongside of Alex Brown, and now they're going to be nose to tail here. All right, let's just jump back to that battle for the lead, Larry. Now. And look at this, Schwenke and Hartley side by side. Dam in the grass, trying to get underneath Chris Thorman. He's not going to get that done. It's brought David Payton back into the battle as they were all once again and having to find their way around the number 49, probably the 31 TCR machine of David Payne.
Take a look at the front of this train. That's now Travis Schwenke, not Rob Hartley. So Schwenke was able to challenge Hartley and take the lead. Dam challenged Thorman, was not able to take that spot. But like you said, that allows David Payton to get back into it. So now Thorman's got a teammate to work with him a little bit. 2 D2D cars here to try and break up this Orion train. Another good run, though, for Mike Dam coming out of the turn onto the oval. Always seems to be able to get the power down just right. He's got good pedal control to keep the wheel spin to a minimum and stay close. And if it comes down to this exit of the bus stop, see if he can make a run. And again, we'll be side by side a couple of times over going into 1.
His time is now running down as we have just about 5 minutes and 5 minutes only remaining here from Daytona International Speedway, and now you see Mike Dam trying to go high on Chris Thorman.
He did that earlier, and I wasn't quite sure what he's doing. If he's just taking a peek, or
Yeah,
if he feels like there's an arrow thing there, but maybe he's trying to pick up. There it is. Look at the draft in front of him.
I was just going to say Hartley went high, I think, to try and pull him along, Larry, which is just what Dam needed at that time, because we've now got Chris Thorman trying to slide underneath the 93.
Oh, and then inside there looks like Peyton was going to make a move as well, but I wasn't sure if Thorman and Dam actually might have brushed doors just a little bit as they turned into one. But yeah, like you had said, Hartley moves to the right to give a bit of draft to Dam, but then had to go back left to keep Thorman from ducking up the inside. Just left Thorman and Dam side by side into one. That's absolutely crazy. Quick replay. Watch the side by side as you see right there. Hartley's going to block the inside. Can't let Thorman by. Now they come in. Look at this. Is this contact? Oh,
yeah, I think there might have been a little touch there.
Check.
And look as David Payton almost was able to make two positions in that little sequence there, but he's going to have to hold station back now in fourth.
We're going to have to check this out because Hartley now back to fifth. Schwenke and Thorman and Dam now your front three. So there's Hartley in number three. He's in second spot here. What do we?
Oh, and Hartley, look at the rear end, steps out. He loses all momentum, Larry, as they come through the second horseshoe.
All right.
And that hurts. That hurts a lot.
It does.
As Hartley led this race for so long, now finds himself in fifth position as we now only have just about 3 minutes remaining.
2 laps to go, I suspect. Now, Schwenke, a second and a half. As everybody had to check up with Hartley's sliding there, Schwenke gets a bit of a gap. Dam now right of the tail Thorman. The only way that Dam and Thorman can catch Schwenke, I think, is if they work together, and it's got to be a leapfrog here. Thorman can't be blocking. He's got to let Dam go, otherwise Schwenke's going to win this race for sure. But I don't know if that's going to happen. These guys might be fighting for second.
Yeah, and you saw Dam go high once again on Chris Thorman, then drop down underneath. And look at this now, trying to make Peyton trying to make a late lunge underneath the 93 machine. But yeah, Travis Schwenke now with almost close to 6 car lengths now up on the D2D Aston Martin of Chris Thorman.
Yeah, I think had Dam been able to get by Thorman, they would have closed the gap to about 1 second. Maybe they do another leapfrog again and have a chance to catch Schwenke, but it's going to be tough now with a lap and a half to go and just 2 more runs out of bus stop. But, you know, I've seen crazier things.
Yes, we I don't know how to answer that. Yeah, we definitely have.
We saw in the World Challenge last week that a pass was made between bus stop and start finish on the very last lap between these teammates of Orion. So I believe that was between Hartley and Dam.
It was Dam.
Yeah. So here's Dam now with a chance to get by Thorman, but he knows that he's probably only going to get one more lap after this. He'll see white flag next time by, but I don't know if he wants to leave Thorman with a chance. He might have to pull the move on Thorman that Hartley pulled on Dam a week ago.
Yeah, and Larry, as well as the Aston Martins have been running in the draft, and as good as the exits that Chris Thorman has been getting out of the bus stop, I don't know if Mike Dam would want to leave that chance on the very last lap. I think at this point, if he's going to move up, he's
measuring up right now.
Yeah,
he's gauging right now whether he's got the run to be able to do it, but he's got the wild card in Peyton behind him. Peyton's going to try and make sure that it's a D2D two-way podium here.
And Peyton coming down the outside, going driver's right as they cross the start-finish line. Should be just 1 lap to go. And as they come under braking into turn 1, Peyton to the outside driver's right, Mike Dam to the inside. Hartley trying to sneak underneath David Peyton. Gets that done to move Robert Hartley now up into 4th position. So we've got the two Orion teammates now challenging the number 60 car for second, as Travis Schwenke, a late recipient of the lead here at Daytona, moves now with what we think should be just the final lap, white flag in the air. Travis Schwenke, your leader, with now only 2 miles left to the checkered flag.
Yeah, so Hartley the opportunist underneath Peyton. Peyton was the aggressor there, but Mike Dam, about as late as I've seen anybody on the brakes and as tight a line as he could make it, was able to hold that spot, and now he's got just a couple of stretches of oval to make the pass and finish on the podium again. I don't think he's got enough anywhere to catch Schwenke unless Schwenke catches an off course at the bus stop. Again, crazier things have happened. But look at this, Hartley and Dam. Are we going to see teammates push each other to get past Chris Thorman?
Well, Hartley's going to have to make up a little bit more ground in the draft to do that, but I think that's the play. As Schwenke appears to be, with the distance that he has on the rest of the field now, unless he has challenges here at the bus stop, he appears to be in the right place. And there you go, Hartley now moving up to the back of Mike Dam. They both get a good run. But Dam, yeah. But I was going to say, Dam almost came up right onto the back of Chris Thorman, though.
That was Peyton that just hit the wall behind him, but we're going to watch this finish. And Schwenke is just a couple of yards away.
And here it is, Larry. Mike Dam, he's getting the push from Robert Hartley as they come across the final quarter. Taking the win tonight, it's going to be Travis Schwenke. Mike Dam will come home in second. Robert Hartley able to draft past Chris Thorman as well. And so for the second round in a row, we have an Orion Racing top three every step on the podium going to those BMWs. Chris Thorman is going to finish in fourth. Brennan Horn, he's going to take the win in GT4 AM for D2D eRacing. He comes in fifth overall. Finishing right behind him is going to be John Allen from Seamless Racing in the 101 machine. He's going to finish fifth in pro. Eduardo Lorente, still waiting for him to complete his last lap. He's got a pretty good advantage right now. It looks like on GT Hawkins.
Yep, I think those guys may have already finished, but I will say,
there you go. They just now crossed the line, Larry, and so Lorente is going to come home in second. Hawkins will come home in third, and you can see there headlights are flashing for Eric Violette. He takes his second win in a row here this season in TCR, with Brendan Whitworth coming home in second. So a D2D eRacing top two and finishing third in TCR. We'll see here, likely will be.
Oh, it's one of these two. This is it.
I don't want to say likely. It's this battle that's been going on all race long between Alex Brown and Nick Horvath, and crossing the stripe. Brown is going to come home in third with Nick Horvath finishing in fourth. And that was a great battle, Larry. Pretty much since the drop of the green flag, those two were battling it out for third. But coming home with the win, Travis Schwenke. Let's do this, Larry. Let's take a quick break. And when we come back, we'll recap the finish, and we'll talk to some of our podium finishers here from Daytona, where you've just seen round number 2 of the Extreme Motorsports Ricmotech Sports Car Series, and we'll be right back.
Allow Extreme Scoring to do the work for you.
Ricmotech, high-performance sim racing equipment. Whether you're just looking to have fun, train for race day, or become a serious esports competitor, Ricmotech has you covered. Hundreds of name brand parts. Support from experts that love sim racing. Trusted by the pros. There's only one place to go, Ricmotech.com.
The search is over. The most comprehensive league scoring solution is here, with the ability for multi-level championships, custom incident tracking, post-race time penalties, support for heats, drop weeks display, multi-car team scoring, advanced web widgets, rookie championships, a custom paint system, and load those results in seconds. Visit extremescoring.info today.
All right, and welcome back to Daytona International Speedway, where we've got cars trying not to slide down off that 31-degree banking, where we've just seen round number 2 of the Extreme Motorsports Ricmotech Sports Car Series presented by Performa Texas Elite Graphics. I'm Greg Ginsberg, along with Larry Lefty McLeod, and let's take a look at that finishing order, Larry. And it was a nail-biter for, I think maybe everybody but Travis Schwenke there at the end. Yeah. Schwenke taking the win for Orion Racing. Mike Dam getting the push from his teammate Robert Hartley around the oval on the last lap. Is going to finish second. Hartley managed to hang on to Dam's draft to get past Chris Thorman, who coming into the last lap was running second for D2D eRacing. He comes home in fourth.
2 cars is faster than 1 around here, and that Orion push just made all the difference. And even Hartley was able to push he and both Dam past Chris Thorman. Just heartbreaking for Thorman on the last lap. And remember, look all the way down that order there somewhere. You're going to see his teammate David Payton, who did not have a good finish.
Yeah, unfortunately met the wall on that very last lap. Brennan Horn takes his 2nd win in a row here at Daytona for D2D eRacing. He's your GT4 AM not champion, but your GT AM winner. Eduardo Lorente for Courage Motorsports comes home in 2nd. GT Hawkins for Team Collusion comes home in 3rd with Stephen May and Chad Osborne just off the podium. Then finally in TCR, Eric Violet from D2D is your winner with Brendan Whitworth coming home in 2nd. Alex Brown, and you saw that battle right to the very end. Alex Brown also from Team Collusion comes home in 3rd, beating out Nick Horvath from Lead Paw Racing to the line. That was, I think, Larry, certainly up there for best race of the night, beyond what we saw in at the front in GT4. So let's do this. I think we've got a lot of folks sitting in the green room ready to talk to us. Let's first start with TCR. We're going to bring in Brendan Whitworth, finishing 2nd tonight with his D2D eRacing Honda Civic Type R.
All right, Brandon Whitworth, you guys had about 40 minutes of some of the best racing that we've seen. You guys seemed like the gloves were off. If you don't want, we won't have to talk about your pit stop. But you ended up 2nd place at the finish. Tell me a little bit about it from your vantage point.
That was the problem. I was so excited about the first part of the race. I came in too hot in the pit stall and overshot a little bit.
Yeah, we'd seen it. We saw you put a reverse, and that's gonna hurt him a little bit. And then it looks like that was the only difference in the race. But you and Eric, we had you guys on camera a bunch of times, going into bus stop, just side by side. It just looked like the most fun ever.
Yeah, we were having a good time out there. We decided if we got a little bit of a lead, then we'll swap it back and forth a little bit and see what happens.
Yeah, well, all the way down the order of TCRs, it was 2 by 2 by 2. The 1st and 2nd were side by side. 3rd and 4th, right at the stripe at the finish, were side by side. 5th and 6th had a great battle. It was just incredible to watch. But between you guys, again, being teammates, any 0Xs or 1Xs picked up along the way?
Oh, there are plenty of 0Xs. I think I had a couple of offs in the bus stop. It was both of us would clip it a little bit occasionally and get a 1X there.
Yeah, it looked pretty dicey, but like a whole lot of fun there between you guys. But that's what TCR is all about, right?
Yeah, it's definitely what it's about. If you bang doors in this car, it doesn't really affect much, so you can get in there pretty close.
Yeah, well, awesome stuff. We're gonna get a chance to talk to Eric here in a second, but 2nd place for you, Brandon, tonight. Another strong finish for the D2D team here in TCR.
Yeah, appreciate it, guys.
Thanks.
All right, there you go. Brendan Whitworth finishing 2nd tonight in TCR. Let's move over to his teammate, driver the number 89 Honda Civic Type R for D2D eRacing. It's Eric Violet.
Eric, we just talked to Brandon a little bit and admitted that there may have been a little bit of door rubbing here and there between you guys. That was a lot of fun to watch. Was it as much fun from your vantage point?
For the pit stop, it was. Yeah, we turned it on once we had a 5-second gap, we turned it on. I mean, we were going a little bit side by side even before that, but we really just started to go, all right, it's on after 5-second gap there. But yeah, I was getting it close on pit entry, and I was sputtering on the way in. He overshot his, and apparently I would say that's probably what lost it for him, because after that, I was pulling personal bests, and he would catch me by a 10th here, and then I'd get a 10th back. And if he didn't mess up that pit stop, he probably would have beat me, because before the pit stop, he would poke his nose out going into turn 1. And I was kind of keeping an eye on him, like, is he getting me by the, the turn 1, or is he getting me at the start-finish line? And he was getting me by the start-finish line almost every time. I'm like, this is not good.
Well, it was a ton of fun to watch, but I tell you, we all held our breath when the GT4 Pro leaders came through, and you guys were full on, like, gloves off, beating each other up. It took the GT4 field an entire lap to get around you guys. Is that just, you had to know that that's who was coming through? Are you guys just thinking, hey, GT4s, you got to work it out yourselves?
I was kind of seeing, I didn't know if they're going to split us up or we were going to split them up. And I knew that they were about a 5-second faster than us. In fact, the lap before, I said, they're either going to catch us right before the bus stop or right after the bus stop. And I saw them coming, and I just stayed low. I was like, I totally lost track of Brandon. He could have been outside of me. We would have crashed, because I'm like, okay, I think there's 4 of them. I think Mike Dam's the end. I'm like, wait for that blue and orange. And as soon as I saw the blue and orange, I went over, and then I was like, oh crap, where the hell's Brandon? so I still don't know if he was left of me, right of me, or just right on my tail. So I'll have to watch it again. But heads up on his part, because I got so focused on the last GT4 and just barely let the throttle breathe just for a second, and then it was hard on the brakes right behind him.
Yeah, it was incredible to watch. It was really tense. The whole trip through the horseshoe into the infield, and then all the way down to that bus stop. It was really hairy there, because we knew that there was a battle going on in the Corsair class, and we knew that you guys were in the seat of battle as well. Unbelievable stuff, and as is typical TCR, it comes down to a great fight. Unfortunate for the pit stops for Brandon that kind of took him out of this, but for you, it's 2 wins and 2 rounds. So there's that going. It's off to a good start here in this season of sports cars. I'm sure you got a few folks that you would like to give some thanks to.
Keep it short. D2D, it's always great with these guys. And, Bobby does a lot for us. I know he does a lot for the league as well. Of course, the league, you guys, Apex Racing TV is always nice to, like I said, watch those replays. It's always fun. I'm not sure how much airtime we got today, because I think the GT4 is probably put on a show with 4 or 5 train going through there. And then Proforma Elite Texas Graphics, my wife, my family, and I think I got 4 other fans out there. So that'll do it for me. Thank you, guys.
Oh, congratulations. 2 wins and 2 rounds. Off to a great start, Eric. Congrats.
All right, thanks, Larry.
All right, there you go. Eric Pilot from D2D eRacing. All right, let's move on now. We've got Brennan Horn, who is our GT4 AM winner tonight, taking his 2nd win in a row for D2D eRacing.
So Brennan, yeah, as Greg says, 2 wins and 2 rounds for you, and you were mixing it up with that top 6 there in the pro class for a while. Tell me a little bit about your night.
I was kind of trying the same as I did last round, where I would just kind of hang back a little bit and not, really risk my AM class win. But it was fun. I definitely didn't turn down the opportunity to mix it up with them, like you said. If the door was wide open, or if something happened in front of me, I definitely would take advantage of that. But I don't know. I think I recognized that I still was a little bit too slow in some of the sectors to keep up with them. But no, it was fun to be with them for the majority of the race. Yeah,
you definitely did. You showed some good speed there. And for the whole D2D team, I know Peyton had a rough finish there on the last lap, but Thorman, a strong race, led a lap, was right there at the end for it. You had obviously the win here in the AM category. You guys are really coming on strong this season. Is this the team making a real strong push? Great setups? What is it about D2D this season?
We're all practicing together every chance we get. Obviously, we do the extreme practices on Wednesdays and Sundays, but then we also put on our own practices sometimes, and we invite everyone from the league, but it's usually just us. And I think it's just down to that. We work on setups together, and we run different lines together, and Eric and Brandon always give us TCRs to practice, intertwining with. So I'd say it's just a lot of practice for us. And at the end of this race, it's funny, I said, wow, we're killing it lately. And I think that's just, I don't know, I'm just happy to be a part of it, really.
Yeah, absolutely. You guys are, as a team, and yourself with a couple of wins now in the first 2 rounds, just putting on an awesome performance. But I'm sure the team, and I'm sure there's even a few others you'd like to thank for that performance.
Yeah, definitely the team, Bobby, David, Chris, Eric, and Brandon, for all their help. I think it's definitely a big team effort, like you said, to get here. Proforma Elite Texas Graphics, BCR Designs, Extreme for putting on this great series, Ricmotech for their support of the series, you guys at Apex Racing TV for covering the series, and my family for their support.
Well, congrats again, Brennan. A win here again in GT4 AM. 2 wins in 2 rounds. Off to a great start for you.
Thank you.
All right, there you go. Brennan Horn from D2D Racing taking the win tonight in GT4 AM. And so, Larry, we'll have to go into the green room and tap him on the shoulder, maybe wake him up a little bit. But let's bring in Travis Schwenke, driver of the number 16 Orion BMW M4 GT4, tonight's winner from Daytona.
Yeah, I'm sure, Travis, the adrenaline's probably still pumping pretty strong. That was one intense race, even though the last lap looked like you kind of had it in the bag. But up until that last lap, boy, it could have been anything, first through last. Tell me a little bit about it.
Oh yeah, Daytona always brings drama, so it's definitely it's very hard to follow. It's hard to lead. It's like I don't know. It just can't win sometimes. It seems like here. And I know early on we were definitely trying to break the draft, and you just couldn't. I mean, if they were within a second and a half, they were going to catch right back up. And Rob and I were bump drafting, swapped the one time, and just nothing. They were quick, so it didn't matter. So
well, early on, you and John and I think it was Peyton, I think we're having a little bit of a scrap, but you guys were struggling to kind of keep up at that front. But you and John in particular must have had the best timed pit stop, because the ones that stayed out got stuck in this train. I think they were trying to get by the TCRs, and so you and John were able to come out in that virtual lead. Helped a lot in your positioning at the end of the race. I mean, at what point did you recognize how good an opportunity that was turning into?
I thought actually Rob was going to go as well. I saw the TCR traffic up ahead, and when I saw that, I was like, we're going to catch him this lap or the next lap. So I went ahead and said, I'm going to take the opportunity now. I saw John. I don't know if John was planning on it or saw me duck in, so he ducked in as well. But yeah, it was a great chance to get in there. Then I was just, of course, worried about how much fuel was I saving. At least this time I had 2 numbers in my head, so I kind of shot right between them and used that as my number. So it worked out well. And then I see Rob come out right in front of us, which just completely shocked us. So he actually did have to save a little bit there near the end.
Yeah, he had a fantastic pit stop, able to keep into the game. But as the clock is winding down and you guys are in front, but again, it's a 5-car train at that point, and you're able to, of course, you guys are swapping positions, you get up into the lead. But then about 2 laps to go, Rob's got his little bit of a tail slide, little squeeze of the gas, something happened for him, opens that up. Are you at that point like thinking, okay, I think I broke the draft, or are you just worried about maybe, I don't know, pick up an off course and a slowdown or something? What's going through your mind?
I knew the draft wasn't broken, especially it might have been broken, but the cars together were going to be faster than me alone. There was just no way around that. So I was hoping it was enough. I was trying to coax them into racing a little more, so I was trying to get Mike trying to pass them in turn 1, but they weren't biting. They had their own race to run, so they definitely they did what they had to do, and then of course the last lap I knew I had enough of a gap. I mean, it's so hard to get a good run here. It was really good to see Mike and Rob actually get that run. I think Chris might have had a little bad exit, and they just timed that run beautifully. So
they did, and if you go back and watch, you'll see there was a whole lot of, as the football fans would say, the bush push, as Hartman was pushing Mike across to be able to finish that 2-3. But incredible stuff to watch. It was certainly one of my most fun races to be able to call. And for you, I'm sure the victory is sweet. It's going to be enjoyable for a while. Who do you want to thank for this one?
Just the normal. So thank you guys for this broadcast, and the Extreme for putting this on, and of course my teammates in Orion Racing and Sim Race Cockpit for their help.
Awesome. Congrats again. Big victory here at Daytona for Travis Schwenke.
Thank you much.
All right, congratulations out to Travis Schwenke, driver of the number 16 Orion BMW M4 GT4, tonight's winner from Daytona. And so, Larry, let's go and start wrapping things up here. And we'll take a quick look to see what is coming up ahead. Next week, January 30th, we've got the Ricmotech World Challenge returning. Going to have round number 2 of 7. And we're going to be at the Hungaro Ring. Again, those are for our GT3 and GTP cars. And then, well, John, I'm going to have John all cross-handed here because then in 2 weeks, we are going to have the Sportscar series returning for round number 3, and this is going to be the first of 2 75-minute races for the Sportscar series this season. We're going to be heading down south of the equator, going to be heading to the beautiful Mount Panorama circuit, and that, of course, 75 minutes running up and then coming on down the mountain there, and should be a great battle for our GT4 and TCR cars. Always tight, close running there at Mount Panorama. I should note that we are still taking entries for both the World Challenge and for the Sports Car Series. If you'd like to join the Sports Car Series, the same GT4 and TCR drivers that you've seen tonight, you can go to XMSRacing/SC Series. And if you'd like to see about joining the World Challenge GT3 and GTP cars, it's xmsracing.com/WC Series. And then, of course, finally, the Ricmotech Classic Sprint Series will be returning on May Day, May 1st. And as we get a little bit closer, we'll tell you what the venue will be. So for Jonathan Grabowski back in the production trailer, who can't tell you how much assistance he was giving us here tonight, and of course for my wonderful partner Larry Lefty McLeod, I'm Greg Ginsburg. We'll see you next Monday, 8 a.m. From Mount Panorama. From the Hungaroring. Have a great week, everybody.
Ricmotech, high-performance sim racing equipment. There's only one place to go, ricmotech.com.